David Letterman. We worked together in the early 70s at a radio station here in Indianapolis that 44 people listened to on a good day. I was the sports guy, you were the drive time guy. I called you out from the track to give you speed reports and updates, and you said put a good-looking girl on the phone because you didn't want to talk about racing. But I knew you were lying because you're a gearhead, and you always have been. You knew how to spell Bud Tingelstad's name. You cut class to come out here and watch practice. Indy's always been one of your favorite things. And you've been one of our favorite guys, one of our biggest supporters. Without you, IndyCar wouldn't get any national publicity other than the races. So here's a salute from some of the drivers and some of the guys you worked with through the years. Have a good retirement. We'll see you race day.
Actually, ever since this came to light, as far as him doing one of the first interviews with me back in 1971, it all came back to me, you know, and I remember that he was definitely not very well informed at the time, so he had tough time just coming up with the questions that were really pertinent to the moment, you know, but that was fun. It was great. Like I said, that's why, you know, all of a sudden when I see him, you know, with his own show and how, you know, how far he has come, you know, just I feel, oh God, I feel privileged that, you know, I was interviewed by him, you know, early on in his career. So that was kind of neat.
It was awesome. Being on that show was one of the highlights of winning the championship, winning the Indy 500. It's amazing to have like an ambassador of our sport in such a high position, and he just loves racing like we all do, and that's the one thing we all have in common. I had the pleasure of driving for him at one point, and just had a fantastic time with that team and with him. I remember I showed up my first time in an open wheel car in years, and he was at my first race. So talk about pressure, that's it for you.
Well, actually, I worked the same station he worked at, Channel 13 here in Indianapolis. He was a weather guy and a booth announcer. But what I really remember was how quick his mind was, and continued to be, because one night they put up the satellite of the, you know, the map in the background, but for some reason the border between Indiana and Ohio wasn't in there. And he caught that like immediately, and he said, I'm totally against that. I don't think you can be combining states like that. And that was just him. You know, he set fire to a model of the building one time at the sign-off when we had sign-off. So he was fun.
For me, being on the Letterman show was like that sort of rite of passage, you know, winning the Indy 500 and going up there, and I was so nervous. I remember going on there, and over the years, you never see him before the show, between the different during breaks anyway, we talked about, one year we talked about Jimmy Clark, and then one year we talked about that season when I almost signed for him and Bobby, and he kind of gave me a really hard time for that. But he has been just, you know, with the show, just inviting the winners of the championship, the 500 on. He's been such a great supporter. Forget the fact of being a team owner with Bob Rahal and Mike Lanigan, but he's an IndyCar fan, and that's what is so cool about what he does for the sport. And it's going to be fun to see him at more races, but I will definitely miss watching him.
Give him some advice for retirement.
Don't do as many jobs as I do in retirement, and come to more races and have some fun.
You know, I remember, I was 4 years old, Indianapolis 500, sitting in the suite, and I was sitting in the seat next to Dave, and he quizzed me about every single driver and every car that went by, and if I knew their names and who they were and what car they were driving. And I think I passed the test. I probably passed the test then better than I could now. So, but I think, you know, it's, in a way, you know, it's sad obviously to see Dave's career come to an end and retire, because he's an icon. You know, if you look at pop culture of the last, you know, 30 some years, I think he's been on air 33 years. I mean, David Letterman is the guy, you know, and but hopefully it's all positive in the sense that hopefully we can see him some more.
Can just from your experience and being on the show and everything like that, the things that what he's done for IndyCar is invaluable. I'm not sure it can be replaced.
He and Newman are probably two of the most powerful guys that have ever been involved in this sport, and it will be hard to replace that, you know, but he's not going anywhere. You know, he'll still be around here, and his name's still going to be on the side of these race cars and this team, and so it's not like he's going to disappear, you know. But to not have him on the show is certainly, we lose some power there, but all in all, it's just fine.
Would you let him be your spotter for a couple of races?
No chance, no chance. And You know, Dave, he's, I'll never forget when I did the top 10 list, right? I go to do the top 10 list, and I'm sitting there, and they're like, right before I go on, they're changing my lines on me and stuff, because he just wanted to screw with me, right? So I get on there, and they're like, don't make eye contact, just walk on. You know, Dave will be doing his thing, and he'll just introduce you, and you do yours. Well, I get on there, and I'm like standing there, I'm nervous as can be, and he's like making fun of me, and he's asking questions, and I get off stage, and I'm like, I got through my top 10 list just fine. I get off stage, and Biff's like, I have never seen him do that to anybody. He's like, he's obviously just trying to make you mess up.
David Letterman came up with Herdomania. It was when we announced the deal. You know, it was one of his top 10 reasons for joining IndyCar. Well, I can't remember which number it was, but he wanted to get in on the ground floor of Herdomania. So it was good. But I'm going to remind Dave right now that at that time he said maybe when he retired we were going to start some Dairy Queens together, go into business. So Dave, you're retiring now. So you know, if you want to do the Dairy Queen thing, give me a call. We're ready.
Hey Dave, Scott Dixon here, obviously driver of the Target number 9. Just want to thank you. Been on your show a few times. You're always kind of nice to me, so thank you for that. You know, it can go either way sometimes, but love that you have the passion for IndyCar racing, and then you're part of our series. And wish you all the best, and hopefully see you at a few more races.
David Letterman. Well, of course I knew him from way back, because when I was a little kid, because his show is on in Australia. Yeah, he watched Letterman in Australia. It's awesome. Absolute legend, and he's a big IndyCar fan, and he owns part of a team, so that's great. But I tell you, it's funny, my motivation was to win. I said to my wife, I got to win that championship, I got to get on Letterman, because I just thought a guy from Toowoomba to be on Letterman was such a big deal. Like, he doesn't understand what that meant to me. I mean, that meant so much to me to get on that show. So yeah, very appreciative, and it's just an awesome experience.
Did he make you feel comfortable? You know, that's a big deal being on national television. Did he make you feel comfortable? Because I don't think he picked on you. He was pretty nice.
Well, yeah, he's so good at his job that it doesn't matter who goes on there. He can make them talk. You know, like he made me feel real comfortable, really comfortable, and yeah, it was great, because normally I'm not that good at talking, but he actually got it out of me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I came to America 22 years ago, and Dave was already Dave, you know, and obviously being in racing for that long, I only related to Dave Letterman because of Rahal Letterman. So I'm like, oh, it's just a partner, and then I realized who he was, and obviously over the years, winning the championship in 04, I went there, I was so nervous. I've never, you know, I'm not the type of guy that get nervous in front of a camera or in front of I don't get starstruck, and I was part of actually the top 10 once as well, so it was awesome. And I think, you know, I know when people retire or when people die, we have always nice things to say, but you know, despite what you've done in your career for television and for the people at home, I think I appreciate a lot what you did and you are still doing for IndyCar. You're the only guy that give us an opportunity. We don't go in any other night show, and then actually, to be honest, I might not even be interested, because now I just got used to yours. So thank you very much. I hope now that you retire, you come around more often, and you know, enjoy your time, and you are definitely one of the people that I look up for, and being a bloody Brazilian, I think you are the one of the Americans that I admire the most.